All right. Welcome into the half. My name's Erich Montgomery, and this is Erich Campbell. Erich, how are you doing this morning, sir?
Doing okay. Had some technical difficulties, but I'm back.
All right. All
What you guys
right.
don't know is on the background, Aaron started the show and just saw me pop in at the last second.
That's half the fun. That's
That's
half the
half the
fun.
fun.
Definitely. Definitely half the fun. So, yeah, good to be back here on the half. We've got
Yes.
some people checking in with us already this morning. Jeff, thanks for being here. Good morning, or hello to you. Sorry. And Kevin says, good morning, guys. Good morning, Kevin. And Frank over in the UK, good afternoon. Thanks
Good
for
afternoon to you,
tuning in.
Frank. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Happy to have
So,
you in.
Erich, we were just talking about this right at the end. Oh, here we go, Christine. Hello again, gentlemen. I
Hello,
believe
Christine.
she's using that term gentleman fairly loosely, I would assume.
We always say that. You know what? Honestly, I think we do fine.
I, I think we
I
do
think we
also.
do fine.
I agree. Yo, Todd, what's up? And
Yo.
Ramona, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate having you along, and thanks for tuning in to the two regular guys earlier. So, Erich, what I was going to bring up here just a moment ago, and we'll get everybody else tuning in. Martha, thanks for being here.
Yes.
Right at the end, after two regular guys was over, we were just chatting with Terry for a moment, and I thought you brought up a really good point that, you know, we're kind of, as things are starting to open up, you know, a lot of states are back to being fully open. Some are not, but some are. And people are starting to go back to in-person events and kind of right back to what was normal, that whole idea. It's interesting because, you know, we all tried new things, started new things, got basically added things to our plates when all of the stuff that we used to do was no longer around.
Yeah.
But now today we are doing things where, well, we're going back to doing some things that we used to do, i.e. going to live shows, but yet we're still doing all of these other things that we started during the pandemic. So how's your world?
Well, I'll say this. I'll admit that it's been a little bit of whiplash for me because I keep planning my weeks and planning my days like I'm not going to do these things. And I don't mean to do that. It's not like it's active, but there's a part of me that, this feels like whiplash. I'm suddenly going to be traveling again in 1 week from today. Well, actually 1 week from yesterday, the travel portion. But yeah, I'll be teaching DAX. In a little over a week, in a couple hours, I'll be teaching my first workshop live at the DAX show in Kansas City. And I'll admit that I feel less ready than I used to. I used to be a road warrior. I was good for it. You know, all my stuff was packed. I'd jump on the plane. I was good to go. I mean, admittedly, I'm a nervous human being more than most. So I over prepare, worry about stuff, get too concerned about, you know, where my presentation's ready to rock. But at the same time, I was good to get on the plane and get going. Now I'm like, everything feels a little alien. Everything's not where it's supposed to be. I'm not sure I'm packed. I'm not sure I have things where I need them. You know, it just feels like a weird time. And I have to admit that, you know, the other thing is, I know that next week I'm probably going to miss the take up. I don't know that there's a way for me to make the take up, especially the way the take up was. It'll be during classes. So they probably can't make it happen. And I have to say, I also don't want to give that up. So it's been kind of a struggle to figure out how it's going to turn out.
So take up on Saturday, or, you know, yeah.
I know we're probably going to have to move the take up, and I know that
there's a way.
Set their clocks by that thing. You know.
Well, you know what? Let's see. I don't know if I could talk about digitizing, but I could probably start to take up for you.
Well, that's what I think. Give
me Jeff,
do I do a Premiere? Do I do something else? Yeah, I know. That's what I keep thinking is what
Jeff
should I do
Justin,
live show? Jeff will take over. He's embroidery nerd's been doing so much stuff. Jeff can just jump in. I won't have a show if I come back.
Yeah.
But
well, you know, I think one of the reasons that you give everybody such great content is because you do worry about more than others. But let's get into some of the comments here as well. So Martha, good morning to you. Kim, hello,
Kim.
And then Christine says, Erich, remember when you said last week that you would mentor a producer if I found one? I think Misty Losi is going to work with me, so we may need to take you up on that. So
let Missy get in contact with you. You got my contact information. I'll admit I am so swamped right now that there are people who are waiting back for contact from me, and I need to get on top of that stuff. But
that's
I will absolutely schedule a session to talk to Missy about anything and everything.
Yeah, and I'm happy to help Missy out
Oh
as
yeah, it's
well.
not.
And Missy's in one of our
Yeah,
mastermind groups that and whatnot. So she'll have plenty of training, and then obviously getting the information from you, Christine. You obviously know what you're doing as well. So I think everybody's in pretty good shape there.
but
All right, Todd
happy
says,
to help.
yeah, I know. Todd says Treasure Island needs to open. Yeah, I know that's been kind of a like so Treasure Island, for those of you that aren't familiar, is the
Yes, Dax,
casino
Minnesota.
resort where Dax holds their Minnesota event at, and it's a gorgeous place. I really enjoy going there myself. The challenge is it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's about a 45-minute drive from
Yep.
Minneapolis, and there's not a whole lot else around there. So if their entertainment is closed, it's one thing for us being there at the show, but Todd was going to bring his family, and they were going to, do the water park and the bowling and there's all sorts of entertainment stuff that goes along there too. But as of right now, they are not open. So we'll see how that goes.
Really? Yeah, I just booked my rooms for Dax, Minnesota. So we'll have to see how that goes. Though that's always fun. If you guys don't know, if you're somebody who's trying to get out to Dax, get a car. Because otherwise you can Uber in, but you can't Uber out.
Yes, I learned that one the hard way.
and the $300 or $250 taxi ride back from Red Wing, Minnesota to the airport is one you only do once.
Yes. Yeah. It was painful. It was painful. All right.
Yep.
So Christine says, I'm going to miss being at Dax this year. We're going to miss having her there.
Yeah. I'm jealous of Aaron because he's going to go see you at Applicate Getaway. And also, what's hilarious is Aaron is going to meet Lisa Shaw before I do, and I work with Lisa on a daily basis. I've never met Lisa. Aaron's going to meet her first. I'm awesome. Slightly ticked.
I can't wait to get a selfie with Lisa and send it to Eric. Hey, buddy, with your coworker.
How is this working? Lisa and I talk on the daily, and I have never met her. So yeah, that's
right.
Not cool, man. Not cool.
Well, cool for me, not cool for you.
Right?
All right. Ramona says, pulling the suitcase computer case out of storage for my first event to visit this year, Applique Getaway. Awesome. So I get to meet Ramona too. I'm excited about that.
See, I'm telling you, you guys are just going to steal all my friends before I get to them.
Well, okay. If they're a friend of yours, they can be a friend of mine, and then
absolutely,
and then they're just mine. No, wait, no, that's not how it works. Okay.
See, that's how that works. I told you.
That's not how it works. All right. Todd says, "You nervous? I'm pretty sure I'm going to throw up." Todd and I actually. Todd does great at doing like the live videos and stuff like that. But last night he and I actually recorded some video that's actually a recorded piece and not necessarily his cup of tea. It's something I'm great at yet either, but I'm getting better at. But it was funny. We got done, and Todd, I apologize, I'm giving away your secrets here, but we got done, and he showed me his hand, and he was a little shaky, but he did an awesome job. It's Emmy award-winning stuff.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, folks. Just because someone is personable, affable, or able to speak in front of a group doesn't mean that they feel awesome or that they aren't incredibly nervous. Here's what this is the way I always talk about it. I've told this to Aaron, so I'm not talking at school either. Everybody knows this who knows me personally. I'm lucky that the guy shows up when it's time to do the presentation, because I am not the guy. I'm not the presentation guy, but he always ends up being there. I have to get started. I wish that I didn't have to do prep for the guy, because I'm a horrible, nervous human being. He's great at talking whenever he shows up. That whatever that version of Eric.
You just got to get him on the stage. Then
if I can get him on there, if I can just get him on a plane and get him over there, it's like managing a crappy rock star or something. Because like he shows up, but at the last minute and is fine during, because I'm excited. The truth matter is I'm excited to talk about this stuff. I'm excited to integrate with people and have this experience. And I'm also excited to be able to help people because we have such a good time. And honestly, once the talks are over, the workshops are over, it's euphoria. Everything's fantastic. Those couple of hours before speaking suck every time. And I'm just sitting here tapping my watch going, dude, you need to show up already. I don't feel good. I need you to get up on stage, my man.
I feel like I'm actually pretty good at that, though. I feel like I'm good at like just tricking the nervous Eric into showing up, and then
no, it's true, because I make all the bookings. I don't know why I keep doing it.
I'm going to be your manager. I think I'm just going to end up being, that's going to be my job in life.
I need that. I would say I would make a joke about that if I didn't need that.
Well, hey, that's why we're friends, buddy. All right, Mike. Good morning to
Mike.
you. And Craig's going to
Syndicator
be at
number one.
Meadowlands, New Jersey in mid-July. Yeah, I hear that one's going to be a good
Cool.
one.
Yeah,
Won't be
for
making
sure.
it out there, but
No, me either, unfortunately.
I mean, like I said on the Two Regular Guys show earlier, Eric, everything I've heard about the Graphics Pro Expos that have already happened, and that's what that Meadowlands show is, have been nothing but positive. Clay actually came on Two Regular Guys and was sharing about his experience with Irving, and a great experience there. So yeah, I'm excited to hear about it, and Craig will be looking to you to give us the full report.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about it for sure.
Yep. And Lisa Armstrong, thank you for joining us. Hello. And Jeff says, let's do it. Embroidery all day. There we go.
Hey man, I told you there's room for another show in my week. I think I might. let's talk about that, my friend.
All right. You need to check with your manager first, Eric.
Come on. I want to do an embroidery nerd show now.
All right.
I think they have a good channel. And
as your manager, I'll allow it.
Hey, you have your people talk to my people.
Yeah, that's right.
Or something else.
That's right.
I can't even stop saying that seriously. I can't. It's ridiculous.
Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle.
And Gusta, hello.
He's here.
What is it, dude? I always say it wrong, don't I?
Justa. As best as I can do it. And admittedly, I mess it up when I try.
A lot more skilled at. Gusta has put up with my mispronunciation for a long time. Then, thank you. I know. Lisa, good morning. I can't believe it's Friday already. Yes, time flies.
I agree, and lots going on. If you could see my other monitor, I've been working steadily on all the other things that have to happen today.
All right. Well, you only have 30 minutes, Eric. Come on. All right. Okay. So Kevin says, with the talk and help on how to grow our businesses, what are your thoughts on scaling back down to start over with what was learned? Oh, I like this. This is a great question. Can I start, Eric?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So here's my thought. No matter where you're at in your business, no matter how big it is or whatever you've gone through, I think that getting back to the basics and getting down into those basics, there is never a bad time for it. And here's why, because I think if you go back and look at the basics, the business planning stuff, defining your why, all of those pieces, knowing your numbers and getting all that stuff together, I think that exercise is good for companies that are even, at a stage where they're closer to their idea of success, because once you've already done this, you have data, you have information. People that are just starting and really are just completely fresh, they're having to make a lot of assumptions, and that's okay. That's a good place to be. You can dream big and shoot for the stars. But if you've already been doing this, I think the best thing to do here is just to not worry about where you're at, where you're going, or any of that stuff, right? Don't worry about where you're at and where you think you're going based on the information that you have right now. I think the best thing to do is just look at this as an opportunity to dig down into the foundational pieces of your business, to really get clear on your why, to really get a handle on knowing your numbers. And now you actually have data to at least give you a better starting point. But I think the best thing to do is just to kind of look at this as not a task to do, or not okay, I have to reset and kind of chip away at what, maybe there were bad habits that you had, or whatever you think. None of those things are true. What's true is where you're at right now. And if you take the time to do these business building things that we talked about, how to grow your business, then you're going to give yourself a ton of opportunity to just, dream big, look at things going forward, and don't worry about the past. Don't worry about what you thought of the present, but just start from fresh. But your fresh just happens to have more data behind it. So that's actually a big positive in my mind. So that's my quick take on that, Eric.
Well, and I'll go ahead and give a brief step on this that it makes sense to me, at least. Just like Aaron says, you have this data you've already been given because you have been doing the work up until this point. For me, this is kind of like a Pareto principle. I may be using the term incorrectly here, but we spend 80% of our time on, or on these people who are really 20% of our profit, who really aren't making us very much money, and we're putting a lot of effort into them. This is the perfect time to say, what's my core? Who is actually feeding the business? what
Mhm.
actually pays off for me, and to say, well, the other 80% of what I was doing, maybe I thought it was an idea at the time and I felt like I had to continue doing it because I had, I started it up, I kicked up the flywheel and I wanted to continue doing all the different things I got into. Now you can stop and say, well, all right, if I do 8 different channels, which 2 of those channels are actually the ones that are making me money, and can I press into those channels deeper? Can I go
Yeah.
further with those people? Can I service my core more and then find more people who fit into that core instead of doing everything?
Yeah.
And one-stop shops, don't get me wrong, one-stop shops isn't necessarily what I'm talking about, because you can still be a one-stop shop and do a bunch of different decoration potentially, especially if you can manage all those streams. But you look at your clientele and say, all right, all of the bargain binners, the people who it's a fight for me to get money from, all the people for whom I'm actually not making a lot of money on it, raise the prices on them, make sure you're profitable. If they blow out, they blow out, and then stick with that, the people who are really paying off, and service them as best you can.
Yeah.
There's multiple ways to look at it, and it can also be about decoration principles. Sometimes I've had people where it's like they took on, let's say, because I'm an embroidery person, let's say it's an embroidery shop first that then took on printing, and let's say the printing is never taken off. They've got a DTG machine that's sitting doing nothing. They can either decide, okay, yep, I'm going to put a really hard push behind it and see if this is it. But it might be time to say, I'm a monogramming shop and nobody comes to me for print, and I have enough monogramming to grow there.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
enough embroidery to grow there instead, or to be there instead. And the other thing is, you may find that you want to run a smaller shop, that it fulfills your success principle to make the money you're making in that smaller shop, and not have expansion be your only goal.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
more than one way to do it. There are sometimes you'll get on Facebook groups where all they're talking about is hitting certain price hits, there certain profit hits. And though I want us all to profit, it's totally fine to decide you're going to run a small shop.
Yeah.
That is
Yep.
fine. That is an option you have. And if it's making the money for you and making you happy, then there's really nothing to be upset about. I always tell people that the hustle is only worthwhile to you if it's something that's going to make you happy. It's going to
Correct.
make your life enriched and going to feed back into what you need out of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, hustling for hustle's sake or growing for growth's sake doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And so 2 points to kind of summarize that. I totally agree with you there, that idea. In fact, that's kind of shaped what our mission is with our success group is this whole notion that nobody can tell you what success is. You're the only one that can tell you what success is. So you have to really be clear on that. And if somebody comes along and says, well, this is what actually would make you successful, what you can do is say, well, I appreciate the feedback, and then move on. Right. I appreciate the feedback and move on. All feedback that we get is not relevant to us. Everything that I'm saying is coming from my lens. And so I want people to take what I'm saying, use what they can use of it, throw away the rest of it that they think's crap, and go from there. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Eric. I think that's a really good point. And I also love your idea of the 80-20 rule, the Pareto rule. And that is true. And again, to me, this is an annual thing, no matter where you're at in your business, is to kind of get back to these basics and do this, and just make sure, when you're more established, this process of kind of getting back to the foundation is going to be a lot faster, because you're really just kind of making sure everything's still in line and you're not having to tweak and fix a bunch of stuff. But you're going to find along the way that there still will be tweaks. 20, 30 years, you're close to your idea 100%. Of success, and you still got to make tweaks, and that's okay. That's what makes business fun. If it was the same thing over and over again, it'd be a dread. So
also, this is a great time to get a reality check, and it shouldn't sound negative. You hear somebody say reality check, and it's like, oh, you need to get it for some perspective, and it's coming from outside. I'm not talking about that. I have had this happen to myself many a time, where I stop and go, okay, am I assuming who my audience is?
Yeah.
Or do I know?
Yeah.
Am I assuming what people want, or do I know? And there are times where I've said, okay, I keep getting upset about a thing that is actually my internal definition of a thing, but it's not real.
Yeah.
I'm looking out in the world and expecting that I should be doing a certain thing, but the truth of the matter is I'm already serving my clientele correctly. I just feel I'm comparing myself to some other situation that's not mine.
Yep.
And when you're paring back is the best time to do that stuff, is to go, all right, I decided to take on, X customer group, but they're really not my core. Yeah. Why did I do that? Maybe because I saw another shop across town was doing it. Maybe because I decided it was what was cool. Maybe I decided that was the kind of technology I needed to get into, whatever it is. And it might not be. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it couldn't be. It also can be decided to, a way to pivot. And also, I kind of like this. There's a couple of comments I would love to bring in if you don't mind.
Okay, go for it. Yep.
We got Jeff here saying, that's when you start, you're talking about printers sitting fallow. That's when you start printing fabric to make hats, or as I like to call it, creative winning. You know what? I still think that's useful, because here's the deal. If you make something that then feeds into your actual channel, let's say like you got printing because you were going to start doing t-shirts. Nobody around you wants t-shirts, but you start making panels for hats or pockets for jackets or something else.
Yeah.
You might open up, you do that creative self-directed project, and you might open up a new market that actually fits in with the audience. I mean, but also, and like I said, I did the five things on the Tier Guy show this morning, where I talked about why you should take on self-directed projects. And I think those creative projects are super important for defining what you can do and for showing customers what's possible. Because I think that's another thing. We don't take time to do that consultation work. Part of being a consultant for the customers is having a concept of where they can go with things, and having to know that for sure.
For sure. All right. One other thing. I know I said that was it, but now you've brought up another thought in my mind here that I want to share. So the other part of this is, so you stopped and you kind of are regrouping a little bit. The other thing you have to realize and give yourself some grace is the fact that, once you go back and you kind of relook at those foundational pieces, and maybe you're finding that there are some changes that need to be made, you're going to call out some customers and things like that. You have to realize that that's also part of the process. So you're not going to just go and do all this work and find this amazing, path. You're going to find that amazing path, but you can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden those customers that you don't want to work with are gone, and all the customers you want to work with are pounding down your door. Now you've created the path. Now you've got to start setting in the processes and doing the work to call the customers. You have to have those hard conversations saying, I'm sorry, I can't do this for you anymore. I know I did this for you in the past, but our business has changed. And to be able to continue to be able to provide the services that we put out there, we're going to either have to charge you more, not be able to do that anymore. Let me give you some suggestions for somebody else, that kind of thing. And the same thing on the other side of it is, okay, now I realize that I need to change my marketing message. So now I got to go out and start trying those things. So give yourself some grace to go, okay, cool. I've done the work. I've got a plan now. I feel good about that plan. Now I need to start building that. It's not going to be an overnight, nobody's ever an overnight success. We just only see the part where they're successful. We didn't see the, 10,000 plus hours, the 10 years of
100%.
building, and the 5 or 6 failed companies before that, So, all right, let's keep going because,
For sure.
We got lots of comments and I want to try to get to all those. Lisa talking about the fact that I'm going to get to meet her first.
Yep, totally.
Everyone keeps talking about how Aaron is going to embroider Applique Getaway. I'm glad that, hey, you know what? If it makes more people show up too, I'd be super excited about that. Whatever I need to do to make that happen, within reason. And then Christine shared she did a great interview with Lisa Shaw yesterday. She is so fun.
Lisa's awesome. I mean, nothing but love. Lisa's awesome. And honestly, if you aren't catching her show, once again, this is one of those times where people will say, oh, the commercial and home worlds don't interact. I know commercial people who watch her show. Her shows are great. I know that her people show up to our stuff too. And it's just awesome. So she always teaches well and makes cool designs that she gives away and does all kinds of great stuff. So go check her out.
Yep. Lisa's. I'm excited to actually get to meet her. All my interactions with Lisa.
She's awesome.
She is. All right. So Lisa does share big kudos to the Applique Getaway team as the VIP registrations are 80% sold out. Wow, that's impressive.
Great.
That's flipping amazing is what she says, given the whole post-pandemic first show situation. Wow. High five to all the folks over there at Applique Getaway, Christine included.
100%.
So good job. Good morning, Justin. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
And Todd shares 3-year DAX progression. Year 1, attended the show. Year 2, helped with a booth. Year 3, have a booth. Talk about crazy.
I was with you, man. My first DAX attendance was as a workshop presenter. First time I showed up was a workshop presenter. Second time, I actually had to run my own booth too. So I'm with you, man.
Yeah, for sure. Justin says, looking forward to Fort Worth.
Fort Worth ISS. Well, ISS. I always say ISS. I have to stop myself.
Impressions
Expo. I'm showing my age now. Damn it.
I still say SGIA all the time. So.
Can't wait to. Everybody's going to be there. I mean, tons of people from the M Nerd group, tons of people together are
Cool.
showing up for that one. So
All right.
I can't wait to meet everybody. It's going to be cool.
I didn't actually have it on the schedule, but now you're making me have some FOMO here, Eric. So
I'm driving out to Fort Worth because I'm doing
more
out there. So yeah,
okay.
I'm probably going to drive out to Fort Worth. I should
That's
be.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe I could drive down there too. All right.
I'll see about that.
Kylie, if you're tuned in, just FYI, we may be putting a new show on the schedule. Yep. And then Justin shares the Embroidery Nerd Campbell Embroidery Extravaganza show.
How many times can we say embroidery in one?
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't quite roll off the tongue yet, though. I think you guys
love
need
that
to go
my name has been replaced with the channel name, but I'm good with it.
Yeah,
M Nerd Campbell. Okay.
M Nerd Campbell. I like it. All right. So Ramona shared, I scaled back this year only because I was exhausted and starting to hit burnout. I'm much more comfortable this year and feel now I have more time to do more things to educate and learn and play with stuff I like to do, embroidery. So there you go. Yeah. And that's such a wonderful realization, right? Most people hit burnout and then make changes. And so for Ramona to have the self-awareness to go, you know what, I need to pump the brakes a little bit here so I don't get to that point of exhaustion and full burnout. So good on you, Ramona.
You're smarter than a lot of us.
Yeah. A lot.
No comment.
Than a few of us. Yes. All right. Lisa says, Aaron, don't laugh, but I just got the go back to the basic speech from the teacher at dog training last night. You know the tools I have you know the tools and have the data. Use it to resolve new obstacles. Had no idea Oscar chasing my feet in flip-flops would relate to the half this morning. Oh, that is all right. I'm not supposed to laugh, but I'm laughing.
This is 100% true. It's also why Lisa and I both, we teach embroidery elementally sometimes where people are like, oh, really? You're going to teach about some stitches again? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to teach stitch types again. Why? If you have the tools and now you have the data from the thing you did wrong, you can fix everything.
Yeah. Oh, you already covered that one.
Yep.
Cover that one. Did you get this one already?
No,
I can't buy these anywhere, so I'll make my own. Thanks. Yep, there we go, Mike.
100%. By the way, that's the thing that I have the hardest thing with, and I'll share it on the half, is not making stuff from licensed people. Copyright issues, just like everybody else, I want to make stuff too that doesn't exist that's copyright, but especially in the position I'm in, folks, where I share with you, I try not to do that. But boy, those cosplay people, I've helped a few cosplay people where, man, do I want to show you the stuff I made that I'm definitely not going to show you.
Yeah. And then Jeff makes a really great point here. If you can't buy it, make it. If it doesn't work, you learn something along the way.
100%. That's the motto, man.
Or creative cheating.
Yeah, there's a little contest going on for Embroidery Nerd, and he may or may not have made a panel program hat to get a little bit better edge on Justin.
Yeah. And then Jeff does cop to the fact that I had to go big just to keep up with you. Plus, there was no winner or loser. But if there was...
See, I talked about contests last week on the Take Up, and this is why it pushes you. It pushes you a little bit.
Pushes you a little bit. All right. So Marianne says, or the costs involved. So there we go.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
And Lisa's after hours are great.
Yep. Lisa's after hours are great. And then Martha, I plan to go to the show. Martha says this, I plan to go to the show. Looking forward to seeing you, Aaron, and hope to meet Christine. So the applique getaway. So who knew?
Yeah, can't wait to see people being there. I wish I could show, but unfortunately,
I'm so excited to actually be able to be there and to provide, to bring some value to it as well.
People who haven't seen Aaron speak, you need to go see him for sure.
Yeah. All right. Ramona says, I didn't want to lose something I love to do by making it a chore instead of a pleasure. Yeah. Again, just amazing, fantastic self-awareness. So high five, Ramona. There we go.
Yeah. No, and there's something about that. Sometimes you have to back up and say, am I making the thing that I love?
Yeah.
Not so great anymore. Sometimes charging for the thing you love can hurt it.
Yeah. All right. Bill says the Fuller 112s are out of stock everywhere. So
Jeff, get back behind that sewing machine. We desperately need stock. I've got orders stacking up.
There you go. I
need those custom underbills printed today.
Yeah. Get
your cut and sew people together. I know. Got to do it, man.
There you go. I'm so excited to meet everyone at Applique Getaway. So back to this.
Homo, man.
Yeah. Back to this really quick, Eric. I'm sure because, I know you're close with Jeff. You've got a couple of places that, maybe you could give people, I don't know, a secret stash. Is there a secret stash out there?
Like a secret stash to get like the Richardson 112s that are out, I hate to give up my secrets, but
just do it.
The secret is there are no secrets, guys.
Yes. Thanks for allowing us to thanks for allowing us to have some fun and be full of baloney.
See you soon.